Hey Rugby viewers, welcome back. Another exciting episode. Guri, what do we make of that first game against Italy, man? What a game.
Goodness, Gabsy. Well, I think, we actually, I think last week we were saying it's going to be 50 plus. We were expecting something like that. Honestly, um, Gabsy, Rassie was visibly frustrated after the game, and I think most Springbok fans were. It's not often where you get frustrated putting, 42 points on a team and beating them with 18 points. But I will definitely say this game, especially for the coaching staff, it didn't go as planned. So that's why we see, I think, so many changes. I don't know. What about you? How did you find the game?
Yeah, look, honestly, after the first half, I thought we were actually quite in control. Maybe we would have liked a bit more points on the scoreboard, but what was it at that stage? 28-3 or
28-3
yeah,
in the first
28-3.
half.
And
It was a riot.
it looked quite good.
Yeah.
So I was quite happy at that stage, but obviously then, yeah, the second half, what did we lose? 21-14 or something. So
What went wrong?
I mean, first of all, many things like Rassi said it himself in the post-match interview. It was a very stop-start game into Italy's
Mm,
favor. Not that they did anything wrong. I think Italy was more hungry for this game than we were.
yeah.
Maybe we've been a bit complacent, if I could say that. And the Italians just came out super hungry. I mean, how many? It was over 100 tackles in the first half, and you would
Mm,
imagine a team at some stage, to like
to
the
drop
tires will
off.
go flat, but they just it kept coming at us, and it was in the second half when the bomb squad came on. It's not like there was a new injection of energy. We had a,
No.
like Rashi said, a very stop-start game. We couldn't build any momentum. And yeah, they just really stayed in our faces. Obviously, had a
Mm.
very, very high press, and I mean, it was very difficult to do anything really. And we just couldn't manage to score any proper points in that second half. We really struggled. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you make of that game? What do you think went wrong, actually?
I just think that the whole bomb squad thing was a failure. I think the most exciting thing about the bomb squad coming on was the fireworks at Loftus, but that was it.
That was the
And
first
then,
time it happened, actually.
the bomb squad is there to build momentum when it's required and stop momentum when it's required. And they kind of didn't do either. And maybe it was because we were at that stage of the game so far ahead. But it kind of looked like it wasn't a collective performance when they came on. And the amount of experience that came onto that field from the bomb squad was enormous.
Yeah.
And I think that's what upset Rassie so much. It shouldn't have never happened that we got outscored 21 points to 14 in that second half. It kind of didn't feel it's almost like everyone wanted to get on the score sheet. And I think that's what changed in Russ's plans for this week.
Yeah.
Because honestly, this team that he selected, it kind of felt like he selected that team during the second half while he was swearing at his
Watching the
other
game.
coaches. So,
Yeah.
and maybe let's go into that team. But
I
yeah,
mean,
a lot of changes.
just one last thing for me to add also on the game. I mean, look, there's been, lots of talking points coming out after this game. Um, we still won by 18 points.
Mm,
We scored 6 tries. Italy played one hell of a game,
sure.
so don't want to take anything away from that.
Yeah.
But I do think one thing that I think even Nick Mallett also said himself was that we really struggled in that second half to build any momentum also for the back
Yeah.
line. And it is almost like we've lost it up front. And just one last point for me on that, losing it up front. Where in your life have you seen a Springbok maul go back, what was that, 30, 40 meters? I'd rather sack them all and concede a penalty and a yellow card.
Yeah.
But that was one thing where I was like, I've never seen this in Springbok rugby. So,
Yeah, you
I
mean the
mean,
Italian mall, the Italian
yeah,
mall where
yeah, that's
they
what I mean.
scored
The
a
Italian,
try. Yeah,
they
it's
mauled us
ridiculous.
back. I don't know, outside of the 22. So yeah, I think that's all very frustrating. As Rassi said
Yeah.
it, frustrating is the word. But yeah,
Mm,
let's go into this weekend, Guri.
yeah.
I don't know. In that starting lineup, what is it? We said 4 players stayed. So what's that? 11 changes. I mean, walk us through it. What do you make of Rassi's approach here?
Yeah, so 16 changes overall in the 23, and barely a few players stayed. And I think this was probably the right call. He said before this Italy test, the first Italy test, that is, that they kind of selected already the teams that were going to face Italy for Italy 1, Italy 2, and then obviously Georgia. But the plans have changed because of this performance or lackluster performance, especially in that second half of last week. Few new players coming in. new captain as well in Salman Murad. So no Jesse Kriel this weekend, no Eben Etzebeth, no Andre Pollard. So your leaders are Peter Steph du Toit, who's just coming back from an injury, who could have potentially captained. So he might not even go a full game. So Salman Murad is someone that they really invest in the future. I think we believe that he's not quite up to that level. He hasn't quite made the jump from playing for the Stormers up to the Springboks. However, he's getting another opportunity this week alongside Ruan Nortje. But let's quickly talk about the scrum and the front line there. You see Wilco Low, he's remained as our tight head prop, and Malcolm Marks, who didn't have the best outing last week, he remains there as well. And Ox then moves to the bench with Thomas coming back. Do you think we'll still get the scrum dominance like we did in that first half last week with these players?
I would believe so. I mean, it's a very strong selection. Yeah, I don't know how big of an impact. Obviously, look, I think Salman and Ruan are slightly smaller or let's say lighter players
Mm,
than the likes of Eben and Luit. But I would hope with, that front three and obviously everything behind it, we should still get the scrum dominance against Italy.
yeah,
I mean, Thomas has had a phenomenal season with Bath and, won,
amazing.
some silverware there as well. So I
Mm,
think probably he's keeping Marks and Wilco in there as well because he really feels that is two players that really deserves it. And have
mm,
probably put up their hands last week, and maybe that's the same for Marco and Jasper.
mm,
But again, so many changes. I don't really know what was Rassie's plan and what is his plan right now. He did
yeah.
say, he almost had a finalized plan for the second game, and that's changed. So I don't know. Do you feel like you have some insights on what's changed there?
Well, I think obviously Thomas deserves his spot there. He had a phenomenal season with Bath. Not a lot of tries for a prop that's kind of unheard of to score that many tries. I think it was 21 for Bath in the 2 seasons that he's played there. And there's also a ball stealing threat alongside Malcolm Marks that could be very helpful with Marco van Staden. We know Jasper was one of the standout performers last week, just with the meters that he gains and the post contact meters, which was exceptional.
Yeah,
But slightly lighter forward pack, but I think Rassie is looking for hunger in this
yeah,
game, something that was lacking last week.
yeah.
So the bench also a little bit different.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you look at the bench, Jan-Hendrik Wessel's probably going to cover the hooker role with him on
Okay,
16.
yeah,
Oxenchair, the one player that's shifted from the starting lineup to the bench. I think he's one of
yeah,
the only ones to be in that position. Yeah, he is the only one. And otherwise, yeah, I mean, you got the other Visa brother, Kobus Visa, making his debut off the
mm,
bench. Ideally, I guess that will
yeah,
happen. And Evan Roos in there, I guess it's also giving him
mm,
another shout to say, like, look, Evan, here's the opportunity. If the two-time World Cup winners are not going to do it, here's a chance for you to do it.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think again, like lots of youth coming into this team, and maybe Rassi is like basically trying to say, like, look, the Italians came out with a young, inexperienced team. They brought it to
correct.
us. I'm gonna
Yeah,
take it back to them with our
yeah,
like less experienced team and show the experienced guys in the squad that there's somebody on your shoulder that's ready to take your
yes,
jersey if you're not ready to step
I
up.
agree. Yeah, I think that was his whole point with the selection. It was to fire something, behind the two-time World Cup winners. So I 100% agree with that. Gabs, let's move into the backline. A completely new backline this weekend, and on the bench, we see a return of Grant Williams after his injury. I have to be honest, Morne van den Berg had a great game last week, and as well, he had a great game against the Barbarians. So I guess this is purely rotational.
Yeah,
He's
I
going to play
mean,
alongside Mane Lebok.
yeah, I just wanted to add there. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but obviously you've
Mm-mm.
got the likes of Grant Williams, you've got the likes of Kobus Reinach. All of these guys needs to get a chance,
Yeah,
and you want to do
yeah,
a little bit of obviously almost like trial rugby and see, who's got it this season. So I guess he's giving everybody a chance here. Obviously, Grant has been phenomenal for the box over the years now. Whenever
mm,
he's had the chance, Kobus as well. The
mm,
question is if Kobus will go until the next World Cup, really. So. Yeah, I think on nine it's purely rotational. Mani Lebok and Sasha obviously both in the mix. Their names have been in the mix since last Saturday already. Well, just a few days ago
mm,
basically. But very exciting team. Obviously, Andre Esterhuizen pairing up with Kane and Moody. The last time they've paired
Love
up in the
that.
centers was when we destroyed the All Blacks at Twickenham. So
Is
very
that the last
exciting.
time?
I
Yeah,
believe so.
could be.
Could
Yeah.
be. I mean,
Kanan had a stormer. It was
maybe they
fantastic.
played somewhere together in a World Cup. I don't think so. I actually think that's the last time because Kanan has always been playing on the wing ever since. He hasn't really
Yeah,
played in the 13 jersey for the Box.
yeah.
So another opportunity for Kanan on 13 for the Box, which is exciting. Edwin van der Merwe, I think, only getting his second start for the Box.
Mm,
If second test, really, like you mentioned before, I think the one and only game he played was against Portugal when he got the man of the match performance. So a great
yeah.
opportunity for him. And obviously, talk of the town, probably what should be the headline, Willie Leroux getting his 100th test match
Mm.
for the Springboks. And the question is, will it be the end of Willie Leroux or is he just getting up the Centurion and there's still some gas in the tank?
Oh, you're asking me. I think this is his last game, honestly. Well, I mean, he's been a great servant for the Springboks, and he was a delight to watch for many years, especially in those early years. But he made his debut in 2013, also against Italy. Um, so he thoroughly deserves the 100 caps. And just to get to the rest of the backline, yeah, I mean, Kanan Moody and Andre Esterhuizen, it's about time we see some rotation in the centers. I think if Mane Libbok played last week, it could have actually, the Box could have done better. Andre Pollard just felt slow, man. It just felt like he didn't ignite the backline as well as he should have. So maybe Mane Libbok and Sasha are getting the opportunity now to show a little bit of magic. So
Yeah.
looking forward to see that combination. If we
I
look at the
mean,
bench for
I mean,
the only two
obviously,
players,
very exciting. I mean, two. Oh, no, it's actually three. I mean, you could
three,
argue,
three backs.
you could argue two if Andre goes into the flanker
The
again.
flanker.
But I mean, I think yeah, excited to see Kobus. Obviously, we know what he's all about. Brilliant player. But then
Mm,
obviously to get Sasha in on that second half, the question is where will he slot in? Will he slot in on 15? Will he play the full game? Will
mm.
he go into 10? And obviously Ethan Hooker, man, getting a debut possibly. That
Yeah,
guy is exciting. We all know he's a future prospect. I'm
yeah,
excited to see him. Probably one of the players I'm most excited to see.
yeah.
And I'm curious. I guess he will either come in at he'll either come in at 13 or wing. Those are the only two options. But Rassie
Mm,
has pointed out that he's probably going to play center, and maybe
yeah,
Kanan shifts out to the wing or Kanan just comes off. But look,
yeah.
Guri, this is an extremely exciting backline. A lot of
Mm,
our young flair in that backline. I would really hope we get some dominance up front and really see what this
mm,
backline is about. And,
yeah,
I wouldn't put it past this team to really see them put 50 on against Italy because I think
mm,
everybody is going to really want to fight for a place. But before,
yeah.
we go to that, you have any final comments on that bench and this backline and team as a whole?
Not really, Gabs. Yeah, I think Ethan Hooker will definitely come on center because Rassie has pointed out, even though he plays wing for the Sharks,
Yeah,
they see him as a center. So I think most likely he will play center. I don't know how the backline is going to shuffle around then, but most likely we'll see him on center and probably Sasha at fullback so that you can
yeah.
get the whole hand clap for Willie Leroux coming off of the field. So we'll see how that goes. But I have to agree with you there, Gabsy. Front forward dominance. I don't know how the combinations are going to go this week. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's a bit new for a lot of the players, but there's definitely going to be hunger and
yeah.
players who wants to put up their hands. So
It's really a very much new look squad and kind of
yeah,
combination of players in a way. Like, yes,
yeah,
some of them have played together. So I'm excited to see this team play. I think everybody knows that the Springboks has got a lot of depth, and right now everybody
mm,
wants to wear that starting jersey. So this is an opportunity for many. What's going to be your prediction? And then let's maybe
so
just quickly
difficult.
touch. So yeah, I mean, let's just quickly touch on Italy, but let's quickly give a prediction.
Yeah, I'll say the box with. I don't know. I said what 50 last week. I want to say the box with 15.
All right.
Yeah, for Italy to replicate two massive performances in a row. I don't know if they can do
Yeah.
it. How about you?
Yeah, I'll definitely go box to put up 50 plus points. The question is how well will
50 plus.
yeah, 50 plus points for the box, how much they'll put on the scoreboard. I definitely think they'll get past the 50 this weekend. The question is how
Yeah.
well will they defend. So yeah, let's say plus
Mm,
35. But Guri,
mm.
from Italy, I guess we've got to wrap it up here, but from Italy, do you think we can expect anything different or just to go from strength to strength based off what they've done last weekend already?
Well, they were very well coached for last weekend's game. So they came in without the fear of losing anything. They just came to rattle the box, and they did that extremely well. They were so great at the ruck area. They targeted individuals. It's almost like they know Eben, they know what he's going to do. They know Luet, they know Malcolm Marks. So they really knew how to mitigate their X factor. So maybe with this new team, they don't know that well. They don't have the research or the background information of how this team is going to play from the Springboks. So very impressed with Italy, by the way, for last weekend. So I don't know if they can replicate it. We'll have to see. So yeah, that's why I stick with that 15 point. What did I say? 10, 15 point
10,
prediction.
15 point. All right, goody. Well, thank you so much, guys. Let us know what you think. What do you make of this team? And yeah, obviously, we appreciate a comment, a like, or a subscribe. Yeah, let us know what you make of this team and what you think will happen this weekend. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Cheers,
goody.
guys.